to enter the next phase, which is the solution provision. So the sales cycle, we started with connect. Okay, this was where we meet the client, build the trust, build a relationship in that first meeting. Then we've just finished doing the collaborate part, which is to uncover what are their needs. How can we be a solution for them based on what we know about what they need? Now we get into the create. Now the create idea part here is we create the ideal solution for that client. If the client is not a match for our lineup of solutions, we shouldn't continue. We should stop it right there and move on. Find someone who is. Because trying to twist and make things fit that don't fit, it takes a lot of time, creates a lot of problems later. So we're much better off to just cut our losses there and move on and find a better fit. Right. So the objectives here in communicating value of our solution to the buyer is, well, first of all, we have to identify the true value of our solution. Here's the point. Do we know the true value of our solution for the buyer? Do you think you know it?
But that's about knowing the value proposition that we have.
That's right, knowing the value proposition you have and also knowing
there's what they want.
What they want, right? So, as we said before, they want it in pink. Our value proposition is blue, and it's a fantastic blue, by the way. This is a blue, unparalleled, unequaled in mankind's history. This is a blue of the ages. This is a blue to behold. It is a beautiful blue. They still want pink. Doesn't help, you know. So when we talk about identifying the true value, it's based on, we've just had a long discussion, hopefully, with the client around their as is, where they are today, there should be where they want to be, the change, what's stopping them from getting there, and then the payout of what it means for them if we are successful. So we are identifying value for them through that questioning phase, to have that in our mind, holding it back until we come with the opportunity to deliver the actual solution, which is where we are right now in the sales cycle, right? And apply techniques to express information concisely. We tend to say too much. We have limited time. If you find you are doing all the talking, shut up. Ask them a question. Get them talking. Right? So we need to be able to clearly articulate the solution in a concise manner. Save time, be very clear in our communication. Use evidence to persuade the buyer. Sales people who are not trained tend to make claims about what they can do based on no reality. So the buyer has been conditioned over thousands of years to not believe one single word that comes out of the salesperson's mouth unless it's backed up with proof they can actually believe. That's just how it is. So any statement you make is, in the buyer's mind, question mark, dubious, salesperson patter. Just, they'll say anything to get a sale experience they've had in the past. So we have to have evidence to be persuasive with the buyer. They will not accept what we say just because we say it. Develop a plan to communicate your solution with impact. So that we have a formula, a structure to roll out the solution that's very, very powerful. When you master this formula, and it's very simple, this is not a complicated, difficult structure. It's a simple structure, but you have to be fluent in your use of it. We do that, we are looking good. We are looking good. So principle number 20 from Dale Carnegie's principles, dramatize your ideas. And the reason we have this principle in here is because we have to capture the attention of the buyer. Okay? We have to use language that is interesting to them. Use metaphors, analogies, examples that resonate with them. Giving a very dry, boring, flat presentation is going to make it hard to persuade people to take action and spend money. Right? That's the thing. We're getting them to spend money, allocate budgets to this. They've got to feel some passion. They've got to feel your commitment. They've got to feel your belief in the solution you're providing. If all they feel is, oh, this person just wants my money for their commission, personal commission, their motivation drops immediately. If they feel, oh, this person is telling me anything to get a sale, a one-off sale, their motivation drops immediately. So, yes, we dramatize our ideas, but we don't tell them a bunch of stuff that is never going to happen. We're still within the realm of we can do it, but we express it in a way that they feel this sounds like a really good idea. This sounds like it's really going to help our company, right? Now, on page 5.2, we have a format here to try and really understand how to persuade the buyer in language that resonates with them. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to fill out the left-hand column of what I sell first. Okay? And then after we've done that, we'll do the right-hand column of what the buyer buys. But we're going to do left-hand first. Here's the first question. We all good?
So like on what I sell, is it like the product itself?
Yes.
Or?
Yes, exactly. What do you sell? What do you sell? Any other questions? We all good? Go. Let's go. Looks like we've gotten through that. So now, let's think about what they buy. So give me an example of something that you sell. Come on.
Direct access to 110,000 key decision makers.
That's what you're providing. What are they actually buying?
Oh, so they're buying...
What does that access give them?
So, branding, exposure.
What else?
More business.
Sales.
Sales.
Access is what you provide. What they're buying is increased sales. So on the right-hand column, opposite that point, then you'd write increased sales. We sell access, they buy sales. They buy more revenue, or whatever it might be, generally speaking.
Audience.
Multiple touch points with your audience, right? So you're providing multimedia solutions, they're buying more than one touch point, or a segmented series of touch points with different parts of their audience. Right? Yeah. Bilingual advice, right? You're providing bilingual advice. What are they buying?
They're buying access to 2 markets, the foreign and Japanese.
Yeah, that's right. They're buying local and Gaishke foreign enterprise markets in Japan. Right? That's what they're buying, right? They're buying a powerful medium.
Powerful medium.
Apart from being in person, video is probably the second most powerful medium, right? So they're getting the second most powerful medium, which has got leverage, because you can't be in every place at the same time, and you can't be there 24 hours a day, and you can't put you as an attachment to the email, and they can't put you as an attachment to the newsletter. Can't put you on the website, but we can put your video there. Right? So what you're giving them is a powerful medium that's got leverage and can be used in multi-purposing points of access to the client. Okay. So the high quality audience, what they're buying is the right fit for their offer. That's what they're after, isn't it? What else have we got? Professional journals can write articles for your business. What are they buying?
They're buying quality editorial.
They're buying persuasion power.
Persuasion power.
That's what they're buying, persuasion power. Now, they themselves may not be very skilled in persuading people through text. They don't have that skill set. You provide that skill set. Okay. What else you got?
Market knowledge. So what they're buying is insight.
Yes, you provide market knowledge. What they're buying is insight. Exactly. Yeah. Anyone? They're buying brand credibility, aren't they? If they have a very low quality presentation of their company on their website or sent out through their email blasts or in their newsletters or whatever, people may get a poor impression of the brand. They expect something much better, but they're not getting that. Very simple example, right? When you go to the DIY store and you want to buy an electric drill, the salesperson will talk about the weight of the drill. They'll talk about the power source, electric power source of the drill, how powerful it is. They'll talk about the finish of it. They'll talk about the mechanism of interlocking, so you can change drill bits, blah, blah, blah. They'll talk about all of those things when they're selling the drill. But this is what we buy. What's that?
A hole.
It's a hole. We don't buy the drill. We actually have a hole. Now this hole might be in metal. It might be in timber. It might be in concrete. It might be in brick. It could be in any format, which will have an impact on what type of drill we need. But there's a certain size as well. How many of those do we need? You know, that's what we're buying. But all they talk about is the description of the drill. Weight, power, speed, flexibility, da-da-da. The question they miss at the beginning is, what do you think? What do you think the question is they're missing?
What kind of hole are you trying to make?
Yeah, exactly. What do you need the drill for? Oh, I'm going to be drilling into brick. Will you use it for anything else besides that? No, basically I just have this need for drill brick. Then you understand straight away, it's no good talking about, well, this drill we have is fantastic on cutting through metal. Oh, it's a brilliant drill for metal. It just straight through that metal, very clean, doesn't spit out a lot of, small, dangerous little metal pieces. It's really very fast, it eliminates it. They don't care about that. They want that thing to go through brick. So what are we going to talk about?
Brick.
Brick, right? Now, take that analogy. This is what we're talking about in sales. You sell certain things you describe. What they buy is different. So what does that mean? We have to change our language. Not about what we sell, but talk about what they buy. Same with cleaning services. Have someone come around and clean your house. Say you're going to move out of your apartment and you have to clean it up before you leave because the landlord will come with a checklist and go, oh, you broke that and you broke that and a big mark here and da-da-da, right? So you hire someone to come in and clean your apartment before you leave. What are we buying?
Well, you're buying thoroughness.
What else are we buying?
You're buying somebody to clean it for you?
And what does that give you?
That gives me time.
Time. You're buying time. You're not buying cleanliness. You're buying time because you are busy moving. You don't have time to worry about cleaning. You've got to be at the other place to receive all your stuff from the moving company. You can't be in two places at once. So what we're talking about there is cleaning service, you're buying time. Not buying, well, cleanliness is part of it, I guess, as well, but So think about these examples. This will help us when we take what we have and offer it to the client. So we have to talk in terms of what's their perspective on what they need, not our perspective. Or, we've got the Dale Carnegie course. It goes for 12 weeks. This has been going for 104 years. Blah, 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 blah. People don't care about that. They care about becoming more confident. They care about being able to persuade people to follow them so they can have a leadership role. They care about being better with people through people skills. They care about being a better communicator and able to persuade people their point of view. They care about reducing their stress. They're the 5 things the Dale Carnegie course does. That's what we've got to find out. Which one of those 5 are of the greatest interest or which one's of more interest, and talk about those things. And that's how people will come to do the course. So you get the idea? We get tied up in what we have, and we get tied up in the detail of what we have. And we start talking detail. Step back. What does your buyer actually want? And start from that departure point. You'll have an entirely different conversation. Okay? Any questions on that?
No, it's actually really
Okay,
true.
next page. We have some image factors here. And we start at the bottom here with our appearance. Now, as a salesperson, why would our appearance have an impact on the buyer? Why would it be important?
You look good. It makes them feel like you're doing something right.
Yeah, what else?
Trust.
Trust, yeah. Why? If you ever meet a salesperson who hasn't shined their shoes so they can see a mirror-like reflection, they're all scuffed and heels aren't quite straight, there's a bit of a wear and tear there. What's your impression about that person's ability to have attention to detail, to have care and precision around handling your business? What do you think?
I think it's really important because we're a touch point for them.
They look at that person, they go, well, I don't think this person can deliver at the standard and level and quality that I need, because look at how they present they can't even get their shoes right. How can I expect them to give a complex campaign right? That's how people think, right? And if you turn up and you look like you're a shambles, where's the trust? Because there's not the professionalism associated with it. Where's the credibility? Okay? So, the old classic, IBM, red tie, white shirt, dark suit. That was the IBM uniform. Probably isn't today, but it used to be. Why was that?
Is that a question?
Yeah. IBM designated this is how you dress because they thought about the image they wanted their company to present. Right? And they designated what it would be because they found that that combination, in their mind, gave a lot of credibility to their salespeople when dealing with decision makers. If you wear a tie or a bow tie, totally different. It's still a tie, but a bow tie and a tie, totally different image. How many salespeople do you see with bow ties? None. You might see architects with them because they don't want to have the tie hang over their drawings. But, most people are going to wear a standard if they're men, right? If they're ladies, if you come in jeans to the meeting and, sort of casually dressed, is that going to work? Are they going to take you as a serious businesswoman? Nope. They're not. So you come looking like you look today, suit, looks professional. So things like that make a difference. When you leave the house in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror and say, do I look like the most professional person in my industry? Ask yourself that question. Do I look like the most professional person in my industry? In my profession? And if you don't, go back. change. The next one there is how we communicate. And maybe, kinda, right? Hesitancy. You're about to present the solution. Well, I guess, I think maybe this could be possibly, yeah, I reckon maybe this could work for you, maybe. Not credible. When you present the solution, no ums and ahs. None. Don't need them. You've got to be certain. Exact wording, concise, not rambling, not adding extra words, killer words you don't need, block of words you don't need. Tell them exactly what it is, but in a very concise way. With confidence, with clarity. And practice it. Don't practice on the client. You know? If you've got to go and give that presentation to the client, maybe you grab one of your colleagues beforehand and they play the role in the role play of that client, and you go through it so it's smooth. In the same way, if you're giving a public presentation, you just get up and you do it, it's going to be probably at a certain standard. But if you rehearse that and practice it, it'd be at such a high level. Polished, crisp, clean, convincing, persuasive. Well, why would we think about a sales presentation as being any different? The size of the audience may be different, maybe just one-on-one or one to a couple instead of one to many, but the elements of it don't change. You have to be convincing, you have to be credible, persuasive, and concise, because you have limited time. In the same way in a public speech, you have limited time. Practice it before you turn up to the client. And this next one is our attitude and self-control. I met a salesperson. I won't say the name of the company. It was a coaching session. First session. Never met this person before in my entire life. No smile. Unfriendly. Dour. Body language. Sort of hunched shoulders. Couldn't look me in the eye. I'm a sales trainer. What do you think I'm thinking? Oh my God, this guy's a disaster, is what I was thinking. That guy is no longer with that company, right? And I can understand that. What I can't understand is why they hired that guy in the first place. So, attitude, positive, enthusiastic, happy to meet people, outgoing, friendly, charming. If you're in sales, that's what attitude and self-control means. Now, I go to a lot of networking events like you do. I meet a lot of people there. Often the people I meet do not want to network with anybody. They are negative. They have come to listen to the speaker, that's it. They don't want to talk to anybody else. They don't want to meet anybody else. They don't exchange cards with anybody else. Not many, but there are people like that. They will never be in sales. Because the salesperson's got to come up to a complete stranger, introduce themselves, be charming, and get a conversation going, you know, build a bit of rapport, build a trust. That's what a salesperson does, right? So to be able to do that, you've got to be very positive. Now, if you're doing that and you meet someone who's extremely rude or completely uninterested, you can't let it affect your motivation as a salesperson to be charming, positive, enthusiastic, etc. You've got to maintain that regardless of how they are. You just think, jerk, and move on. Right? This person's obviously a socially inept individual and don't know anything about sales. And do I want this as my counterpoint? No. So move on. Right? Next one is how we relate to people. What this means is, who are we helping? Are we helping ourselves through bonus, commission, sales? and solving our personal financial problems? Or are we helping the client solve their problems? The starting point is entirely different. If your starting point is, well, you know, my sales manager is breathing down my neck, saying to me, where's the number we need for this month? And I'm feeling massive amounts of stress and pressure to produce that number. I might start relating to the buyer from my perspective about what I need, and I need it now, as opposed to what does the client need. We have to resist that pressure, because if the client even for one moment feels this conversation is more about what's in it for you than what's in it for me, the buyer, this conversation is over. Even though you may physically still be in the room, but really, this sales conversation just died right there. They have to feel this whole thing's about them and their benefit. And it's got to be like that. It can't be, well, I'm going to fake it and look like I really care, but actually I don't care because I'm really worried about myself. People aren't stupid. People are not stupid. They feel it. And what's your starting point? If you get up in the morning and you say, today I'm going to do my best to represent my profession and my company and find solutions for my clients to make their businesses successful, and inside their success, wrapped up in their success is my success. If that's how you get out of bed in the morning, you're going to have a great day, every day of your life in sales. You're never going to feel bad about being in the profession. You're never going to feel shy about what you're doing. You're certainly never going to be embarrassed by what you're doing in terms of what you're offering the client. Not every salesperson has that luxury. Some people are working in bad companies, for bad bosses, selling bad products and services. My advice, get out of there. That's my advice. Don't try and put some lipstick on the pig here. Get out. You know, find a product or a service that you can believe in, that does help people and makes you feel good selling. Life's short. Don't waste your time working for bad people in bad industries with bad products which are bad for the client. Even if you make money, ultimately it destroys your brain. So, you know, when we add all these things up, we look the part, we communicate effectively, lots of confidence, positive, enthusiastic, really serving the customer. Customer outcome is the key thing in our mind. That adds up to being a professional. There are not many salespeople who are professionals. There are a lot of amateurs in sales. They get into sales by accident. They were doing something and now they're in sales. They have no training. They have no background. They don't get led the proper way. So they're a disaster. They are not professional, but they are in the sales profession. So when clients meet you, they don't know, oh, are you properly trained and a real professional here to help me? Or are you just some person who bumped into the sales profession as a complete shambles and actually you're only here for yourself? They don't know which one we're in. This is how we show them, hey, guess what? I'm in the professional group of salespeople, not that bunch of amateurs. You can trust me. I'm here to help you. You know? That's where we've got to go. This is presenting virtually. Now, I'm not sure whether you actually ever present by Zoom or Skype or these types of things where you're not actually in the room. It might be video conferencing. It might just be I've taken a video and they're looking at the video of you.
I have done, but
Yeah.
not at customer.
Phone, could be by phone. Now, you know, this is extremely difficult, obviously. If you have the choice and you can do some video conferencing rather than phone, if you have to sell by phone, do that, because at least you can have the body language, the voice can come across properly, actions, you know, energy, they can see that. When it's just phone, it's very limited to the voice. It's very hard. You can't judge their reaction either. You know, I mean, once upon a time, the quality of video conferencing wasn't so good. They were a bit of a blur. You couldn't really see what they were doing anyway. I remember going for job interviews with a panel. You couldn't actually see body language on anybody in the panel because the shot was too wide. They could see you though. You were like on their screen. It was just your face. It was very imbalanced. It was tough. So, you know, it might be like that. There might be a buying panel. You can't really see them, but they can see you. So those sorts of things offer a bigger challenge. The advice there is sell face-to-face as a preference. If you have to do it remotely, do it by video conference rather than by phone, and phone would be the last choice. Try to actually have some visual entity there. Now, we're going to talk about facts, benefits, and applications here, right? So, what you see here is, this is very large, isn't it? And this is very small. Facts are specific, true, provable statements. We are in 97 countries around the world with offices. Provable. We can show you the list of addresses. We teach in 30 languages. We could show you all the manuals, all the languages we teach. You can prove it. We've been going for 104 years. We can prove it. Right? These are things. We've been in Japan for 53 years. We can prove it. These are facts. Right? These are facts. There will be facts about your organisation. Okay? Facts about what you're doing. Now, here's the point though. The vast majority of salespeople stop right there. Like for example, I pick up this bottle of water here. So, this particular bottle of water, let's see, it's 330 mils, okay? So I might start describing this product. I say, this is Evian, famous brand. Water from the purest source in the world. No industry up there in the Swiss Alps. Pure air, pure water. This is a plastic bottle. So I can drop it, it's not going to shatter. It's got a screw cap. I can unseal it and reseal it. If it's a ring top, once it's open, it's open. But this I can carry around. It's portable. It's 330 mils. This is more than enough to slate someone's thirst in the short term. Now, there's a whole bunch of facts about this product, right? But I didn't get into any benefits. I just described the facts. And this is the problem we get into with our products. We describe what we have, but we forget about benefits. Benefits are brief, that's a key point, brief, clear descriptions of how any buyer could use and enjoy the solution. So a benefit to this would be, there's a lot of water on the market. Not everybody is so clear about the purity and source of that water, but Evian has been around for more than 100 years. They've proven through the test of time and track record, they are a reliable brand you can trust. It's coming again through a production system where high attention to quality. So when the testing is done, this water is very, very pure. Okay. So now I'm taking the brand, name, and I'm relating it to something that's credible for the buyer. The benefit is you can trust that brand because they've been around for a long, long time. That's the benefit. Okay? So when you look at your own products, what is the benefit of that they bring to the client? And it's got to be the benefit to the client. Right? So where you're going to phrase it, in this case, would be something like, given there's actually an ocean of bottled water out on the market from very, very large numbers of sources, often unproved, around the quality and purity of the product, would it be comforting for you to know that this is a brand that's been around and tested by consumers for over 100 years, that everyone trusts? Would that be important to you? So you're likely to say, yes, that trusting would be important when I think about a fluid I'm going to put into my body, right? So you phrase it in a way that clarifies that that is an issue for them and the benefit relates to what they do. Okay? The third part here is, and this is really interesting, most salespeople will talk about the facts. A very small number will relate the facts to benefits, and then virtually no one relates to the benefits of the application. The application, as you see there, is how we specify how the customer will benefit from this. In this particular case, the benefit is you get pure, safe water in a portable, reusable format that gives you tremendous flexibility. You can take this anywhere. It's not heavy to carry, and use it as you need it and the amounts you need it, when you need it. So the flexibility and trust aspect of this is very high. Right? So that's the application. It's pure, it's flexible, use it on demand, not forced to drink the whole thing once you open it. There's the application. So you've got to think about your own examples. And in your manual on page 5.5, we start picking up some facts about your business. What is the benefit related to that fact? What is the application of that benefit? Okay, so let's pick up a couple of facts and then go through this process, and then we'll do some role play. Okay, just to make sure we're getting it concise and fluent. Who's the first question? We all good? Okay, well let's go. Start with your fact benefit application, then we'll try them out. Yeah, we get through that. Let's hear them. Let's do a bit of a little practice here. So let's hear I'm the buyer. Explain the fact. Roll into the benefit and tell me the application of the benefit. Let's go.
Okay,
So we now go to the next phase. We've started with the fact. We've aligned the benefit to the fact. Then we've taken the benefit and we've shown how we can apply that benefit to build their business. Now, as I said before, salespeople make a lot of claims. They make a lot of statements. Who can understand if the salesperson in front of me is actually a truth teller or not? Well, one of the ways of making sure that you are differentiated as a salesperson, as a professional, is by being able to back up with evidence what you just said. So, after you get through the application, then we come to the evidence part. You've got to supply the evidence. Now, on page, what have we got here? Page 5.6, you see some hints here on how to drive the evidence. It might be a demonstration of a video or something that you've got. It might be an example you give, such a company did this. It might be a fact. Here's a fact sheet. Here's some media statistics on distribution or whatever it might be. An exhibit might be the physical thing itself. An analogy could be relating two things which have no connection with each other, but you bring them together to make a point. Okay? It could be a testimonial. Someone has made a statement about the quality of your service. Or it could be a statistic. It could be an industry-specific statistic that you can use. So on page 5.7, think about what's some evidence that you can use in your presentations when you're giving solutions. Now, you can pick a particular product or service you want to focus on and say, right, when I get to this point, I want to show some evidence to back up what I'm saying is true. I've told them the fact, we do this. I've told them the benefit, we do that, and this is how we're going to apply it for you. Now, what's my evidence to back that up? Right? Got the idea? Let's go. You've done a good job there of going through and finding things you can use. You've thought of one particular client, and then you've worked out, well, here's some facts, testimonials, statistics, demonstrations, exhibits that I can use as evidence of what we've done. Now, this should apply to the application. Right? You've gone back and you've said, here's my fact, here's my benefit, here's the application. Now, the evidence has got to back up that the benefit is true, right? The fact is true, the application is true, right? It's got to back that up. You've said something, is it true? Prove it's true with evidence. That's the point. On the next page, on page 5.8, now we relate to each of these different buyers. Okay? So your financial buyer will prefer a different type of evidence to your executive buyer, to your user buyer and technical buyer. So as you look at the client, excuse me, that you're dealing with, think, well, for the technical buyer, I might need to have a lot of data, a lot of detail for this person. Remember we talked before about the personality styles, right? We had the analytical person will want a lot of data. The expressive person will want more macro. Okay, so the driver will probably want short, sharp facts, very quickly delivered. The amiable person will probably want it done in a more take your time manner, not driving so hard. The point is you need to align what you've got with the person you're dealing with, by industry, by personality type, and by their position in the company. So you'll pick out things which will work specifically for them. Got the idea? Mm-hmm. That clear? Now we move on to the next stage, which is the trial close. So a trial close is testing the client's reaction. It's asking for an opinion, not a decision. Okay? And we get an understanding of where they are in the process of the sale now. Why don't people ask for the order?
Because we didn't ask for it? Or no, they didn't.
Why don't we ask?
They aren't convinced of it?
No, why don't salespeople ask for the order?
Because it sounds pushy.
Sounds pushy. What else?
Why don't they ask for the order? Because they're scared to.
They're scared to. Why are they scared?
Because they don't know what they're actually asking for.
Well, they're asking for a buy or no buy, right?
No, but they're scared because they're actually scared of the outcome being a no.
They're scared of rejection. They're scared of a refusal. That's the point. So salespeople, some salespeople, have learned over time, rejection is brutal and I feel bad. Don't like that feeling. How can I avoid that feeling? I know. I'll never ask for the order. I'll make the client do all the work. I'll make the client beg me to sell it to them. Hence, these salespeople are very effective. They don't do a lot of business. They don't do a lot of sales. As an exact result, they don't ask for the order. Now, we don't have to ask for the order immediately. The trial close at this point, we've asked them as is, should be, change, payout questions. We thought about the financial buyer, executive buyer, user buyer, technical buyer. We thought about the driver, the amiable, the expressive, and the analytical personality type. We've collected a lot of information about them. We've told them about the fact. We've given them the benefit. We've put the benefit through an application process to show how they would use that benefit. We've given them evidence. Now, before we ask for the order, we do a very subtle question. A very subtle question. We don't say, well, shall we buy? You going to buy it? You ready? Get my pen. Push hard. 5 copies for the order form. No, we don't have to go there. And for a lot of salespeople, they don't want to go there because they're scared. You can ask a very soft, easy question at this stage just to gauge how we're going. What would be some examples of some things we could ask?
Well, is there anything at this point that would stop you from signing an order, for instance?
Sounds still fairly direct. Can we go a bit softer than that?
So it would be with, okay.
Remember, we're looking for opinion here. We're not looking for a decision. That was looking for a decision. Here it says here, right?
Well, the opinion,
what's the reaction? Ask for an opinion, not a decision.
So,
what do you think about it so far? How does that sound? Yeah, that's how complicated a trial close is. How does that sound so far? Right? I've just asked you a bunch of questions. I've suggested a solution based on what you've told me. I've given you a fact, I've given you benefit, I've given you application, I've given you evidence. So you've got a lot of stuff to consider now. I'm not asking for a decision yet, but I'm just asking, well, how does that sound so far? yeah, that sounds pretty good, or that sounds, yeah, I'd like to know a bit more about, or what about in this, or what you're trying to do here is you're trying to draw out the concerns, you know? And it looks like this. There's the water line, okay? And here's your iceberg, okay? This part here is what we've been talking about in the question and answer session. It's all above waterline, it's spoken, we've heard it. But there's probably some concerns under the waterline, right, that haven't come out yet. We want to get these out. We've heard opinion, but if there are hidden concerns, any issues, worries, objections, whatever, we want to draw these out. So we take this opportunity now at the trial close stage to see if we can bring any out. So this is what the trial close is for, and it's that complicated. How does that sound so far? What do you think so far? Does that sound a difficult question to ask? It's not. And what you're trying to do now is flesh out, okay, what's the problem? So we have a process, don't we? Let's go to 5.9. Pick a customer. What's the primary interest of that customer that they told you in the questioning? Okay. What type of buyer are they? Financial, executive, user, technical? What personality type are they? Pick someone you know. Then think about, okay, what's the need they have? They've told you in the should be, as is gap. There's a certain requirement they have. So what's a fact that will align with that need? And what's the benefit? And what's the application? Then evidence, and go into a trial close. Do you see how this is designed? This is one conversation. You with me? It's one flow.
So we have three needs.
Well, you don't necessarily have three needs.
Okay.
I mean, this is just giving you
options.
Options, yeah. I mean, it may be, I would pick their central need. Usually, given the time you have, you're better to focus on the really core need and address that. If you address that, the other things tend to come with it. But if you address something that's minor, and there's something that's major you haven't attacked yet, then you won't get anywhere. Go for the major thing. Right? So, customer, who is it? What's the main thing they want to achieve, the primary interest? What type of buyer are they? What is the thing they actually need? So in your solution, what is a fact that says we have the solution for your need? Here's a fact to prove it. Here's the benefit of that fact to prove it. Here's the application of that benefit to prove it. Here's the evidence to prove it. How does that sound? Trial close. How does that sound so far? What do you think about that? How does that sound to you? All right, this is all we're looking for here. Everyone got the idea? Any questions?
Not at the moment.
Good. Let's fill that out and work on that. There we go. Must have got it all done by now, I would guess. Let's hear it. Let's go into, give that to me. I'm the client.
Okay.
Tell me,
Okay.
don't read it to me. I'm the client. You give it to me.
So,
Right?
yeah,
We're going maybe.
okay,
We can.
okay,
So go back, just give me the last part.
okay,
No maybes at this point. This is definite. We have got the solution for you.
okay.
So we've got to be positive. Don't make a maybe there. Just give me that last part again. And remember, there's also the opportunity here. Let me go back a little bit. Don't forget to dramatize your ideas a little bit. For example, you just talked about a video, it's a winery, right? So in that discussion, you say, oh, we get a video. You could talk about people love those long, wide shots of vineyards and seeing the big vats of the wine and, you know, people enjoying themselves. Very visually powerful imagery comes from that whole wine industry. We can provide that. We can go and shoot that video, provide that for you, and use it through our distribution channel to get in front of people. Be very appealing. People be aware that you've got this incredible product. You see, I'm taking the idea, we've got a video. I'm starting to create a picture there around what that video would look like, you know. We've all seen those video shots, right? The wineries, a big cask. Mentally, we can put that in the frame pretty quickly. So, from today, a bit of homework here. Let's get some testimonials.
Okay.
All right, let's collect testimonials from your clients. All right. Okay, you've got some testimonials you can get. Go out and get them. So let's put it all together now. We have the connect piece, which is where we first meet the client in person after we've made the appointment for the meeting, and we are trying to work out how to build that trust with the client. Inside that process, we have the agenda call where we're laying out what we're going to discuss today. We're going to see if they have any issues they'd like to add or any points of interest they'd like to add to that agenda. We bridge then into the permission to ask questions. This again is vital. If the client thinks you're just coming to give a pitch and then they'll give a critique, that's an entirely different outcome to building the trust, connecting, agreeing what we're going to discuss today, bridging into asking questions. And we have a format for that, which is we're looking at the current situation, the as is, for that client. What's their current situation, what they're doing. What's the should be, where would they like it to be, what things are they actually hoping will happen, where do they want to get to in terms of their goals. We have the change, which is we're looking here at they know where they want to be, they know where they are, they know the distance between those 2 points. What's stopping them from getting where they want to be? And we are usually the solution to help them get between where they are now and where they want to be. And then the payout. The payout is the person we're dealing with has a whole bunch of aspirations for their own career, for their team, for their division, for the company. If we can ask them what things would help them personally, then when we come to solution, we can wrap those things into how we present the solution. So build a rapport, connect with them, then we go through and collaborate to understand what's their situation, where's the gap. Now we create the solution. We get into the solution. We've heard what they need. When we're hearing that, we're thinking, right, we've got that, actually, or we can make that for them. We can fix that issue. We can close that gap for them. That's going on in the back of your mind. So when we get to present the solution, we go into, here's a piece of information, a fact, which proves that we can do what you need us to do. You tell them, we've got whatever it is you need. Now, just having it is not enough. That's just a fact or a feature. Now, we need to describe the benefit of what we actually have to convince them that they should use us. So we now go and take the thing that we can do. For example, as a training company, we can provide a customized training course for your team. That is a fact. We can do that. Or a feature, we can do that. Now, the benefit is, by doing that, it's highly tailored to your needs. So we don't waste any time, we don't waste any resources. It's pinpoint exactly what you need. That's the benefit. Then the application is, by customizing the course, coming in-house, running the course with your team, you're going to get the highest motivation, the highest ROI from that team that's possible as a result of that particular training session. That's the application. we will use from that fact of we can do it, the benefit of doing it, the fact that this is how it'll work, and then we go into evidence. Now, we've seen this before with our other clients where we've done the same thing with them. These are the types of outcomes that they got, and we might produce statistics or testimonials or facts or exhibits or examples that they can then look at that and say, oh, this isn't just salesperson patter, this is real, and we can see that that works. And then we go into trial close, just to test the waters. We're looking for an opinion here, we're not trying to get them to make a buying decision. We might say something like, how does that sound so far? To get some feedback from them on what they've heard, because they've been asked a bunch of questions, they've now been given a solution to basically fix that area of gap or problem that they have. Does that sound about right to them? Does anything we haven't told them that would convince them that actually, this is what they need? Have we missed any details or anything they're not sure about? We're trying to draw out the hesitation, because if we can draw it out now, that under the waterline iceberg, then that will help us when it comes to the next section, which is on dealing with hesitancy, dealing with issues around objections or problems they may foresee. So, first meeting, build a trust, understand their business, understand their problem through the questioning model. Now take that, use that and apply that the way you present your solution. So it's the fact of what you can do, the benefit of doing that, how you would actually do it in the application, evidence where it's worked before. How does that sound so far as a trial close? So that's where we are. In the next session, we're going to handle that area around difficulties, problems, etc. that clients have. So in the next session, please bring 5 critical, typical, common pushbacks you get, objections you get from your clients, and we'll work on those. And probably all businesses, there's probably 5 top ones. 5 is enough. Usually, if you can knock those 5 off and satisfy the client, the others won't be as important, because there'll be some key things for them, and you know what they are because you're dealing with your clients all the time. So we'll complete today, and we deal with handling client hesitancy in the next module. So thank you very much for today.